Hi, I'm Lindsay Bushing, and welcome to Work In Prog-mess.
She is a work in progress, may not figure it out, but she'll do her best. Try to play it cool, but is always stressed.
But no matter what, she's a work in prog-mess.
That was good. Let's hear it.
Hello, my gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous listeners and viewers and people, friends, family, everyone that is watching. Welcome back to Work In Prog-mess. I'm so excited that you're here. If you are an audio listener, be thankful that you don't have to look at me. If you are a video watcher, I'm sorry. I think I said in the last episode that I was going to F1 Miami this weekend, and I did, and oh boy did I get absolutely burnt to a crisp. You know, I'm literally from Fort Lauderdale, like almost as in South Florida as you can get, and for some reason I decided to wear a tank top on a bright sunny day with no sunscreen while I was going to be outside from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I didn't think anything of it. And now I am paying the price, and I would not be surprised if my skin starts to peel off like a crab when they molt their skin. Like it just is going to pop open. And my gross little wet self is going to crawl out. Like, they showed an episode of SpongeBob where Mr. Krabs molted, I think, and then he was all pink and squishy. That is what I am like under my hard exoskeleton red lobster exterior. So, you know, if you ever go to an F1 race or just ever go outside in the sun, put on sunscreen, okay? Because we love ourselves. My shoulders are burnt and my scalp is very burnt, and it makes your hair hurt, and it hurts to do anything. It hurts to wear clothes, and it's just bad. So please wear sunscreen. It's important. I'm talking to myself, Lindsay. It was pretty cool though. I've never really watched F1, nor do I know anything about it. My friend Darcy is a big F1 girly pop, so she kind of gave me the lowdown on just the basic things I needed to know before I went, and she's supposed to be making me a PowerPoint presentation to explain further. I'm still waiting on that, but you know, we'll rate and review. And then I think I need to watch the show on Netflix because that shit juiced me up, dude. Like when they drive by you at whatever 230 miles an hour, however fast they're going, that shit, like I was like pounding on my chest like a gorilla. I was like, I want to be behind the wheel. I could do that. Like, it's like, fuck yeah. It's good. I like it. Then, you know, there's the whole middle part where they're just going around, and I think some strategic things happen. You know, I wasn't paying attention in that part. And then there was a part where someone wins. It's really great. And you eat and drink and get sunburnt. Great time. Highly recommend. And then we, me and my friends and I, we snuck into the Hard Rock Club where you have to pay a bunch of money to get in with all the rich people on the second day, and felt like I was in Las Vegas. It was very cool and bougie, and the drinks, of course, they costed more in there. Could you believe that? Oh my god. The drinks were just insanely expensive anyway. I accidentally got scammed and bought a quote unquote, audio listeners, I'm doing the finger quotes, double shot of, what did I get? Oh, I think it was a vodka Red Bull. It was supposed to be a double vodka Red Bull. And the lady charged me $36, but I just I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention. I was using Henry's card. I don't know what happened. I was distracted, and I just said okay. And then I got it. Number one, it tasted way too good to have actual 2 shots of vodka in it. And then my friend and I looked up at the screen, and it said a double shot drink should only be $23. So I'm not really sure what happened there. I think I got swindled. So that was a bit of an L. But I learned my lesson after that. I was proactive made sure the prices aligned, and tried not to look stupid again. So, sorry, Henry. I do apologize. Everyone was judging me harshly. I'm really sorry. So I just wanted to kind of cycle back to what I was rambling on about last episode. I think that's going to go down as my least favorite episode. Got the least amount of views. I think I was just too rambly and I don't know what was going on. So I'm kind of trying out a little bit of a new format. Like, I've made some more notes and I'm going to try to add a little bit more structure, I think, to the pod. And maybe spend more time actually talking about what I want to talk, my main purpose topic of the day, instead of all the random shit I do talk about. But if you do have any opinions or anything you want me to talk about, or anything specific you want to hear or see or anything, please leave a comment or a message or email my email or just something and let me know, because to tie into what I was talking about last week and this podcast's kind of place on the big beautiful monster that is the internet, I want it to be a community, and maybe I'm doing it selfishly because I don't know, like-minded people, it's hard to make friends. This isn't even about that, but I think that's such a good bonus that so many people on the internet get to take advantage of, that they get to communicate and talk and become friends with people that are like them or provide comfort to them. So I just think that would be super cool. I just want it to be a community where if you felt anything like I did growing up, what I was talking about last episode, kind of in the digital age, having that affect your adolescence in so many more ways than I even just briefly scratched the surface on talking about. But one of them being comparison, body image issues, self-esteem, spending way more time thinking about what other people thought of your internet profile or whatever when you're 15 years old. Then I want to make a community where we're going to do everything. This podcast is in spite of it. In spite of all that, in spite of all the perfection. It's a work in prog-mess. It is a place to come and relinquish yourself of the shame or guilt of the little messes in your life or things you're working on. Just all the things that make you uniquely beautiful that you have any shame about. We are here to let go of them and normalize the gruesome and beautiful kind of human experience, growth from adolescence into becoming an adult, the early 20s, moving forward, just all of those kind of things. I want this to be a place of support, of learning, of ideas, of knowledge, of laughter, of solidarity, of warmth, of kindness, of compassion, of charity. I could go on forever, but that is kind of the main goal of this podcast, and besides it being extremely therapeutic to me and allowing me to kind of fully and intentionally engage with my thoughts and feelings and try to talk things out in an intentional way of really just what's going on in my life, things I'm struggling with, things I'm interested in, things I need to work on, kind of helping me recognize things within my own self, or things, everyone needs to get something off of their chest. So if I am going to do it, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And it's going to be like a video, like a blog almost of my life. And I'm going to use the internet in a good way, and what I think some people intended social media to be for, about community, and being social. And I just think it would be like really cool if that could happen. So yeah, I'm interested in what people have to think and say and feel about this podcast, what they want to hear talked about, discussed. I think maybe I'll set up like a submission kind of thing, like an online version of those boxes where you write something down and then drop it in like a suggestion box or something. I think that would be super cool. We can have it be anonymous, or, I'm excited to review my first hate comment one day, so it doesn't have to be anonymous if you would like to be named. But yeah, I think social media and the internet and all that jazz has impacted me in a way that I really did not recognize until recently, and I think I would like to explore that, throughout this podcast as well. So, I'm sorry for the ramble session last week, but, I am a work in prog-mess, and so is this podcast. It will see my failures, it will see my wins, it'll see my grievances, it'll see my sorrows, it will see my successes, it will see my joy and my laughter. It will see my whole life, and I think that's super authentic, and that's the only way I want to be. And I don't think that is my new thing in life. I don't know if I'm just becoming, I'm going to turn 25 in August, and everyone says things just start to make sense, and the frontal lobe just like finishes developing and you're realizing things. I think maybe it also is just a time in your life where you're now fully kind of transitioned into adulthood from college, adolescence, teenager, very early adulthood. And you're just kind of getting into the nitty gritty of the everyday things of life, and yourself, getting to know yourself even more, spending time with yourself, just seeing how you work as a person in the real world. And I think it is helping me love myself and like grow into myself more, but also making me realize a lot of things and ways of behavior that I had that I don't want to have anymore. I am fully leaning into not giving a single fuck about what other people think or have to say about me. I have been so fearful of just, I think, rejection from other people, criticism, unkindness, bullying, just all kinds of things from other people and where they could hurt me, that I feel like I may have in some ways like suppressed certain parts of myself or tried to make myself into someone that I think is quote unquote cooler or hotter or better or prettier or smarter, and kind of chipped away at little pieces of myself that I didn't feel were worthy of people knowing or I was embarrassed of. And it's kind of so drastic how my opinion has changed, but I am learning to really love those things about myself, or things I wanted to hide before. People thought I was worried they would think I was weird, or that I laughed funny, or just so many stupid things. Genuinely, I was probably thinking about myself way too much, because no one gives that much of a damn. But I don't care what people think anymore. I want to really allow myself the opportunity to really feel out myself as a person and get to know myself on a deeper level, and truly just allow myself to marvel at who I am and my unique characteristics and capabilities, and how that makes me a true individual. And there's no one else like me, and I just feel so sad for younger me, who was so self-critical and suffering from low self-esteem. And I don't know why I need to go into that more. This is, the beginning of my journey of actually trying to figure out why I felt like that. Why did I just automatically assume I was inferior or less worthy of people being nice to me or thinking I'm cool than other people? Like, I don't even know when I started doing that, and it kind of just felt like it was always there in my brain, and I don't know why, because I'm just as funny and great and awesome as all the other people that I always used to think were cool. And some of those people suck, actually, and I'm like, fuck, I'm better than them. Not in a cocky way, you understand what I'm saying, but like, I don't know, I just spent so much time like degrading myself. For what reason? To tie back with my dad being sick, I think it's just part of getting older, and then there's been a lot of things in my life that have probably helped me along this path. But my dad getting sick, you really do only live one life. I'm not trying to bullshit it away, and I'll explain how I feel. That actually goes more into what I'm going to talk my actual topic of today. But so yeah, with my dad, and then I think being in a relationship has definitely changed my perspective on some things, even just how I was taught to deal with, not necessarily taught, but like I mirrored the way it was presented to me, or I observed it happening in my own house. Ways of dealing with conflict and upset, angry, rageful emotions. And I've been able to kind of step back and be like, okay, maybe in this scenario, this is actually me, and I'm doing something, and this is a bad behavior that I need to reflect on. And not that there's been like that we fight a lot or anything. There's just things like we've been having conversations sometimes, and there's things that I realize I want to work on. So that has kind of been a big eye opener to me as well, because being in a relationship is besides like the romance and all that stuff. I'm not trying, like, a relationship is not the end all be all, like love is difficult. You are whole in just being an individual and getting through every day. But if you are lucky enough to be in a good relationship, it helps you in all facets of your life and kind of just tests all your connection and maybe like points of tension in relating to other humans and in sharing your emotions and your feelings. And it's just amazing. It has impacted how I talk to myself, how I express my emotions to others besides him. And it's good. One day we'll do a whole episode on relationships and all that stuff. But, oh yeah. Okay. So there's just a lot of things in my life that have gone on that have made me realize that I am a good person and I am just as worthy as everyone else, and there is no reason to be so hard on myself. There is no reason to automatically count myself out and think other people are judging me and just all that bullshit. So I'm definitely stepping into a new era of my life. This is why I'm doing a podcast now, because I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to be confident and I want to do it. I've wanted to do it for so long. Just for myself, but then for allowing the fantasies of a lovely community. Like, it would be awesome. And the only way I'm able to do this right now is because I am letting myself not give a shit what people think about me, or if they think it's embarrassing or cringy or whatever. Life is unexpected, and I just have wasted so much time being worried about the wrong things. And that is no more. I also think I spent a lot of my life being a people pleaser. I want to look up what, like, the characteristics or what kind of weaknesses people pleasers have, or some classic traits. Okay. Lock in, everyone. We're learning. You may have a friend who pushes aside his needs to accommodate the needs of everyone else. The people pleaser needs to please others for reasons that may include fear of rejection, insecurities, the need to be well liked. should put an and there. If he stops pleasing others, he thinks everyone will abandon him. He will be uncared for and unloved. Or he may fear failure. If he stops pleasing others, he will disappoint them, which he thinks will lead to punishment or negative consequences. The people pleaser may have traits that include low self-worth, accommodates everyone else's needs, undermines her own needs, goes with the flow that's dictated by others, is too agreeable in general. So yes, you just kind of like squash down who you are because you're so afraid of rejection and people being mean to you, I guess. I don't know. I think it kind of definitely coincides with like my general anxiety, and anyone will tell you. I think less so now. Thank you, Prozac. But as a child and a young adult, I was just an anxious person. I was so nervous. I was like the little ugly chihuahua shaking in the corner with their tongue sticking out of their mouth and drool dripping down, and they got a little crazy eye, and they're like, the world is ending. So I think part of this also is maybe that I've gotten to a place where that's under control now, and I'm like, hey, I have a personality. I'm a person. I've always had a personality. I just have been cripplingly shy, I would say. But yes, too agreeable in where I say yes to things I don't want to do, or people say things. Sometimes this is something I hate about myself and I am working on. Because I don't like confrontation. Like, they'll say something and I'll give them like a look, like I'm like, that's not cool, but I don't, or they said something that hurt my feelings or something, and I'm just like quiet. Like, I need to stand up for myself, or if I don't like something they say, I need to speak up about that. I let people walk all over me, but then I also sometimes am too agreeable and want other people to be happy that I do things, and then because I was trying to be so agreeable, the consequences of that actually end up being worse than if I just told them no or something, and then I actually do like get in a fight with someone or have, suffer the consequences of what I was trying to avoid in the first place. So that sucks. Trying not to be a people pleaser anymore, but oh my god, it's like built into me. I don't know why. Does not assert themselves, rarely says no, feels valuable when complying with others. Okay, I'm not people pleasing in that I'm letting people do bad things. That's not true. Just like in my own personal life and boundaries and stuff. Feels valuable when complying with others, values praise from others. That's embarrassing. Says sorry when no apology is required. Oh my god. Literally, I say sorry and then I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Oh my god. Why are you sorry? People tell me to stop saying sorry all the time. Yes. Takes the blame when not at fault. I think my brain is like warped that I have made myself think a lot of things are my fault or I'm to blame when it wasn't me at all, but I'm always like, it's my fault. It's me. I'm the problem. Other people, I don't know why I've always like, I don't know. I guess it almost sounds like I was like scared of them. I don't know. I just always felt inferior. And, so my brain's like all jumbled in terms of, was that actually my fault? Or am I just people pleasing? Or is this person like being a bitch to me or something? Makes excuses for the faults of others, has little self-awareness. Okay. The problem is I'm very self-aware of it, but I just can't stop it. And, there's a lot of other factors of my personality and self that mix into that. But I am trying to be fully myself in all situations of my life for the first time. And it's pretty good. I like went to the gym and I sat in front of the mirror, like on one of the benches, like all of the people. And I was like, I deserve to take up this space. Which obviously, yes. But, sometimes it's scary. But no one is looking at you or thinking about you or caring about you as much as you are caring about you and what they are thinking about you. And that's just what I have to tell myself. And also, if you just act like you're really, like, you're that bitch, like, you're like, I'm that bitch, I'm hot. Yes. You know, then no one can stop you. And I feel amazing. So, you should try that out. Check into that. So, yes, that is what I want this podcast to be about. So going into what I want to talk about kind of today is very much connected to everything I just said. But I'm very much experiencing maybe a quarter life crisis, or it's just part of figuring out who you are and what you want to do in life and getting older. But I don't know what the heck I want to do. I don't know what the heck I'm doing with my life. I don't know what I want to do with my life. Sometimes I have ennui, which I will tell you the definition of that. I learned this from Gilmore Girls. If you've watched Gilmore Girls, you will know this. Ennui. Ennui. It's French. Ennui. A feeling of listlessness and dissatisfaction arising from a lack of occupation or excitement. I don't feel ennui about my... Oh, also from Gilmore Girls, it's Michelle that says that, I believe, to Lorelai. Yeah, check it out. I don't feel ennui in my, like, personal life, but in my professional life, my work life, my next step life in that realm, I feel ennui. Because, so I think I've said this before, but in college I studied political science and anthropology. And in political science, I was mainly focused on international relations and comparative politics, so more of, like, the international community, and comparative government and theory and stuff like that, rather than American politics. And then anthropology kind of goes along with that because, you know, it's the study of, like, humans and culture and how they tie together and how we leave our impact on the world and on each other. And I feel like it's the study of life and all of its niches. And it was actually, I'm so glad I did a second major and did that, because it allowed me to learn so many amazing, cool things and just have such a good, like, fundamental understanding of the diversity of human life and people, and it's it's just beautiful, and it allows you to learn a lot of cool things. I took a mortuary archaeology class that maybe was not my favorite. It was a little different than I thought, and on the first day our professor asked if anyone in the class just went to cemeteries to hang out, because they're, like, beautiful parks and whatever, and every single person in the class raised their hand except for me. I don't know, maybe just in Florida, like, the cemeteries are just, like, on the side of the road and they're kind of big grass fields. He was referring to more maybe beautiful ones up north, colonial style cemeteries, the above ground ones in Puerto Rico. A lot of them are kind of parks almost, and I guess they're very beautiful, but the ones I have frequented, not that I'm frequenting them, the ones that I have ever been to are just kind of like a building, and then there's, like, the big plot of grass behind it or whatever. So that was a little bit eye-opening and interesting, but other than that, I really enjoyed the degree. But so I wrote a thesis in college called, what is it called? Yeah, guys, I'm a published author. Did you know? Oh my god, I can't believe I just wanted to make sure I got the name right. It's been a while. It's called The Australian Paradox: Politics of an Energy Transition. And it was basically, we had read this book in one of my classes, and I ended up doing my thesis with that professor. And this book kind of set up a framework of analysis for evaluating the possibility or effectiveness or likelihood of a transition from primarily based fossil fuel economy and dependent country into a renewable energy efficient country. It was a really good book. And I found it really interesting. So then I had kind of been wanting to do a thesis, and then I got close with my professor. I always took advantage of office hours. I just enjoy learning, especially when you're getting paid to do it, free education. Like, I was taking advantage of all of the opportunities presented to me, especially in my last 2 years of college. So I got close with my professor. He kind of became my mentor, and then we developed an idea for my thesis, and this was around the time when Australia was on fire. How many animals died? How many animals burned? Okay, it was 2020. That's crazy. Australian wildfires declared among the worst wildlife disasters in modern history. Nearly 3 billion animals were affected by Australia's worst wildfire season that burned from last July, so July 2019, through March 2020. Yeah, 3 billion animals were affected. Anyway, and this was also around the same time as the really bad California wildfires, the one where Miley Cyrus's house burned down. That's how I usually reference that to people, because people will remember that. So I had kind of I knew when I did my abstract that I wanted to utilize the framework from this book. What is this book called? Why can't I remember anything? So their book was called Renewables, The Politics of a Global Energy Transition by, I'm going to butcher it. It's Michael or Mikael Alkin and Johannes Urpalainen. Really good book. And the framework's kind of laid out in the first 3 chapters, so if anyone ever wants to read it. But I knew I wanted to use their framework to apply to either a country or a specific city or region in terms of the possibility and effectiveness of a energy transition to renewable, sustainable energy. And then when the fires were getting coverage, I had started looking at California, and then I really was thinking about it one day, and I was like, Australia is the perfect kind of country, I think, to apply this to, and they didn't do it in their book, but I think it's such a of the moment kind of prime example of what I'm trying to say, and a real way to put this framework to the test and analyze the effectiveness or possibility of something like this. So, I mean, because when you think about it, there's a lot of statistics and information in this thesis. It's 90 pages. But Australia is a country that is so kind of environmentally vulnerable and susceptible, and already providing an example of the effects of climate change and kind of the drastic natural disasters and environmental changes it will cause. Not that it can, it's going to cause. But they are also so deeply ingrained in the fossil fuel industry and powered by oil and coal, and there was a lot of social and political ties that kind of affect this relationship, and it was just kind of the perfect example that I could have asked for the framework that I was doing. So that's what my thesis analyzes anyway. That directly relates to international relations and all of those things that I was kind of studying, and then with one of my interests being climate change, environmental sustainability, renewable energy, the politics of renewable energy. So that, I think, is what I primarily am interested in, things like that. But at some point I got in my head that I was going to go to law school and become a lawyer. And then I put myself on the track to do that. So all throughout like, when did I get my job? My junior year of college, I got a job at a law firm, and I was working full time as a legal assistant, and then I became a paralegal. And I had a full time job for the last 2 years of college, because I wanted to get experience. So when I applied to law school, I would have that on my resume. And then I kind of think I had to stay for the summer in college to finish my thesis, which was fine. It was just an extra 3 months. But then I think I freaked out and was like, I don't actually know if I want to go to law school. Also, I was so busy working and writing my thesis and everything the last year of college, so I didn't study for the LSAT. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to take this year, think about it, study, take the LSAT, whatever. But then my dad got sick, and that kind of threw a wrench in everything. So, and then before that, I got fired from my new job in Tampa when I was a legal assistant. So then I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if this industry is for me. I don't want to do it, blah, blah, blah. Dad got sick, didn't study for the LSAT. I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm going to do something else. And then I was talking to my friend's sister who graduated law school and is a lawyer, and she was like talking to me, and I was like, shit, this does like sound what I want to do. Like, it sounds good. Like, I want to at least get my JD, like, blah, blah, blah. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to study for the LSAT. Then I procrastinated a little bit, and then I studied, and then I took it, and I was not happy with my score. So I was like, okay, I'm going to study again and take it and apply, this year, like this fall. And the last one I took was in I took it in January, so I haven't studied or anything since then, and now I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know. And it's stressful because I just feel like so I'm at my job. I've been working there. It'll be 2 years in October. I kind of definitely got this job just because I needed one. After my dad got sick and I had been unemployed for a while. I like it and everything, and I have an opportunity to stay there for longer, possibly. Obviously, I'm good, but like in a more like guaranteed way, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to say anything. But now I'm like, oh my god, like, do I want to do this? I have a little bit of anxiety that they'll find, my boss one day will just find this, but it'll be okay. We're not gonna. He doesn't follow me on social media. He's in his 60s. He does not care. So my problem is basically I don't know what I want to do, and I don't understand how people can decide and just pick a job and work there forever in the way that they used to. You know, people used to have a job and work there for 40 years. I can't even work somewhere for like 2 years and I'm like gonna bang my head against the wall. So I've only ever worked professionally, not like in an office, not like at Publix or a pizza restaurant or being a tutor or whatever, at law firms. I worked in community association law, which I hated with God, there's something in my eye. Every fiber of my being. It is so dumb. I can't believe that is a real thing. Then the place I got fired from was like insurance or something. I don't even fucking know, guys. This is how much I literally didn't know what was going on because no one was helping me out. And there's nothing like getting screamed at every day by the mean old man who owns it. Just because you're there and he's angry when he comes in the morning. So fun. So fun. And then now I work in eminent domain, which I actually do like. But I just don't know if this is a sustainable lifestyle for me long term. And I don't know if the way in which I'm utilizing the law or that I'm getting to apply it in the ways at least I have experienced is in like what I want to do. Like, I'm not interested in that. That's not how I want to do it. And I am interested in kind of a more global scale, I guess. I also just sometimes have aspirations that are way too big for the current scenario I'm in. But, you know, dream big, and hopefully one day one of them comes true. So I'm not sure if the path I'm on is the path I want to be on. But my other issue is that I don't know how anyone makes up their mind, because I'm interested in so many things, and I also like studied a lot of different things in college. So I am very torn on how I'm supposed to pick which one I want to pursue. And then I'm also hung up on the thing of, do I want to do this because I want to do it, or because subconsciously I'm like, people will think I'm smart and this is like cool and I'm like a bad bitch. Like, that is not why you should get a job. And I recognize these are not good thought patterns for me to have, but I'm working on it. Like, so I did political. How many times are you going to say it? Then you know what you did. But so I also worked in a bioarchaeological lab, and I've briefly mentioned this before, but I got to work processing, I guess. I don't know what the right word is. Peruvian mummies, like bone fragments, and deconstructing their teeth for analysis. You would like extract the collagen, and then the other part, I don't know. Lots of test tubes and things involved. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, and then it was COVID, and I never got to go back after. I think I did it probably I think I had 15 sessions, and then COVID happened, and then I didn't get to go back. But we would grind up the bone to a certain kind of powder with a mortar and pestle, and then weigh it out. And we were doing carbon analysis to see what their diet was primarily made of. And you could also tell the elevation at which they lived at, and a lot of things from the kind of carbon and other genetic information that is not even genetic, like chemical information that is left over in those bones that we were able to process. So that was super fucking cool also. And my professor was just this badass archaeologist. I was actually supposed to go to Croatia with her to a couple Neanderthal sites in Croatia to get to see the excavation sites and work with the actual bones and remnants of them, the skeletons, and it would have been so cool, but COVID happened, so then I did not get to go. So I still have not ever gotten to go to Europe, but I'm going this summer. I'm very excited. So that was super cool, and I actually took several other classes with this professor, and I look at her and I'm just like, that is a bad bitch. That is what I want to be. This is so interesting. It's so cool. I want to do this, but then I also want to maybe be a lawyer, but I also want to work in humanitarian aid or for an NGO, or I want to own a coffee/book/plant/music store that has a parlor cat and a piano for people to play. And we have crochet lessons. And I also want to be an Egyptologist, which is specific for an anthropologist that is well-versed in Egypt. Like, that's so sick. I literally got to miss school one day when I was a kid because my mom took me to the King Tut on tour exhibit before he went back to Egypt forever. So I got to see his sarcophagus and everything, and that was maybe the coolest moment of my entire life. Like, I remember geeking out so hard, and I just remember staring at it. I was maybe like 8. For like 30 minutes, I was just staring at it, and I was like, his mummy is in there. I got a little King Tut from the gift shop, and he was on my nightstand for many years. Then I'm like, I've always had a passion for movies. Like, I just fucking love movies. And film, and maybe I want to be a film editor or being a cinematographer. And I know so many things are unrealistic per se, but then also I am really trying to embrace like you can do whatever you want at any point in your life. It is never too late to try something new or find your passion or change direction. Also, I'm only 24, so it's definitely not too late. So that makes me struggle a little bit with knowing what's realistic. Then there's also the thing, like, I need money. I need to pay all my bills. So I need a job. I have a job. Sometimes my job sucks my soul out of my body, but it pays my bills. So what am I supposed to do? And I just don't like feeling as though I'm in limbo. I'm kind of just in this holding pattern of I've still not figured out what I want to do or taken any steps in a different direction. I've been indecisive about it. Also, I need job stability, financial stability, so I can't do something rash, and I'm scared to make the wrong decision, which wouldn't be the worst thing, but there's just a lot of factors, and I don't know what to do. No one tells you about all these important decisions you have to make about yourself and your identity and your freaking whole life when you become an adult. Like, there are many things you are not prepared for. At least I have not been prepared for mentally. It makes fucking sense. Like, once you're an adult, you're an autonomous being in this world and you have to take care of yourself. But it's weird when it actually happens and then you're like, oh my god, so much responsibility and laundry, and I have to figure out what to feed myself every single day of my life for all 3 meals. Oh my goodness. It's too many choices. So then I also have to decide what I want to do for a job, and it has to make me enough money to survive in this fucking world that everything costs so much money, and is falling apart and melting and gonna explode before our very eyes and is gonna be underwater. I live like a couple blocks from Tampa Bay, like the Hillsborough Bay. I'm gonna fucking be underwater in a couple years. When the hurricanes come, it gets a little risky. Last one, we picked all our things up off the floor because I didn't know. I didn't live here for a hurricane yet, so I wasn't sure if it was gonna flood. And we put like our TVs in our giant bathtub and stuff. So, how do you decide what you want to do? How do you take a step in the right direction? How do you make responsible decisions for the financial well-being of your life? Somewhat long-term, because, we have to think about how important it is to live every day, but also you have to plan for the future to some extent. Like, there is a fine line. There's a balance between those two things. And I just think about people, literally every person that's ever lived before me, and I'm like, they just fucking got up and did that shit and did what they didn't want to have to do and survived. Like, literally till I don't even know, at least the Industrial Revolution, but even then people in the like dilapidated housing and slums in these industrialization era cities that are forming, like you had to fight to survive hardcore and do things you didn't want to do. And now I'm like, I watched The Revenant the other day, and I'm like, those people, the Native Americans, having to survive, and then just these white European people also just braving the elements, the element of survival and things that they know how to do. And I'm just like here complaining about that I don't know what I want to do with my life and what I want my job to be. So that always humbles me a little bit, and I'm like, girl, like, it's not the biggest of deals, but also it doesn't feel great to feel kind of aimless, floating in the abyss of confusion and indecisiveness. You know, I am getting older. We're all getting older every day. Even if I'm only going to be 25, I'm still getting older. And I want to feel like the things I'm doing in my life are meaningful to me and productive and contribute to the world in the way that I want them to, and that I'm not a mindless robot. But I haven't figured out how to make that really happen. So, if you know what you're doing with your life, and you have known for a while, or you have a plan, or no plan, or anything figured out, or nothing figured out, let me know, because I want to talk about it. And this is what I want the podcast to be for, you know? Like, I am bearing my soul to y'all, all three of you. Love you. And I want to hear back, you know? Like, I want to know, I want this to be a place for people to engage and feel comfort in. They are not experiencing things solely in themselves, and other people can relate to them, and just be a productive place for people's emotions and happiness. But yeah, if you figured it out, let me know, because I don't know how to figure it out. And I fear this is just the beginning of a long life of not knowing how to figure out things, which is inherently part of being a human and the human experience, but it's not particularly fun, I would say. And honestly, having to figure out what to feed myself every day and have it be healthy and nutritious, or that I'm getting enough protein, or just of all the things, like, girl, I have decision fatigue. It is a lot. Grocery shopping to make like a meal plan in an affordable way where I'm having like, oh, it's so hard. Being an adult is so hard. And then it just makes me feel a lot of compassion for my parents, because, you know, everyone says this now and you see it everywhere, but it's their first time living too, and they're just trying to figure it out. And when you're a kid, before you're self-aware and aware of other people and their own minds and individuality, your parents are kind of just like people to you, that they're your parents and they know everything and they're just like whatever. And then once you realize that that's not the case, and it's their first time trying to figure out life too, even if they're just, you know, they're some years ahead of you, that doesn't mean they've got it all figured out. I won't have it figured out by the time of my mom's age. So it just makes me feel for them and understand them more on a deeper human level. And I think that's a cool part of getting older. More understanding, I feel. More points to relate to one another and share in the joys and hardships of life, because as you get older, obviously, things begin to happen, and it's good when you can relate to other people. So someone relate to me, please, because I'm stressed. And it just is chewing away at my brain. Like, how do people find their passion? How do you do that? How did it just happen upon you one day? Did you always know? Did you have to work for it and then it kind of grew out of hard work? Or just let me know. Please, I'm begging you. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. We're gonna do the cringy thing. If you like it, follow, subscribe, leave a review. I don't have to say these things, but I do, for my own ego, want to get more than 10 views. So please do all of those things and share. And all of you bitches that I know that are watching this, fucking like my shit and leave me a review. I know who you are. Love you guys. Have a good rest of your week or life or whenever you're listening to this. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.